create ideas and bring them to life. This is why we're thinking of them, right? It came into our head for a reason. Y'all know, I got to do something that inspired me real quick. And shout out to the FAQ podcast because they interviewed DJ Jazzy Jeff. And he says something so fire off of this concept of ideas that he learned. This is not his original one, but that he learned. And I wanted to talk about it for a little bit. So check this out.
What is the richest nation and what is the richest land in the world? It's the wealthiest piece of land in the world. And everybody, Dubai, Abu Dhabi. And he looked at everybody and he said, the graveyard.
Damn.
And he said, because that's where most of people take their ideas. I walked out.
Damn.
So, okay. So let me start this one off. I almost walked out when he said the whole walkout. I'm not gonna hold you. I almost did that because and not in a bad way, but like as creators, we sometimes hold on to ideas for like special timing, right? So in his example, he was saying, some music producers like hold on to their best ideas, hoping that it would be for a specific person. Like, I'm holding this for Nas, I'm holding this for Jay-Z, I'm holding this for Kendrick, and never gets to them. So we never hear it. So I'm also thinking from like an entrepreneur standpoint of we hold on to like, okay, here's the right season for this. Or when I have this particular person for it, then we could do this. Or and it's like, you want to create ideas and bring them to life. This is why we're thinking of them, right? It came into our head for a reason, not for it to get buried, not for it to get pushed aside. It's more on how could we create it right now and how he said be left on empty when it comes to our ideas. I'm like, okay, because I've been appreciating, you know what, let's space things out a little bit more, this, then, and the third. But of course, there are certain things there's always something that comes up. Yeah. And sometimes we don't revisit ideas and they do die. Like they're nowhere to be found. Right? Mm-hmm. So it's like, what are some things we could do to avoid that? Like, granted, write it down, go check over it on a seasonal basis. Like, I get that. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But even that, you're still pushing it to a certain season. You feel me? Yeah. Like, so I'm now like, what do you do? Do you not minimize, but like, do you slow down the ideas that are coming in so you can give the proper attention to the ones that you have? And so they don't necessarily die because it never was birthed just yet. I don't know.
Well, if I didn't birth you, I technically didn't kill you,
technically,
right?
You did not come out of my body yet. So I don't know if that is an idea just yet. I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting. And it's like there's so many different ways you can look at it. Because from one standpoint, I can understand or I can value the opinion of it has to make sense from a timing standpoint. And I'm not so much the saving it for a person, because it's like that's faith, right? You don't know if this person or individual or group that you're saving it for is going to be supportive or into what you want them to be a part of. But from a flip side of it, I think of ideas, even from a business standpoint, more a little bit of a linear fashion. And I'm always of the model of what are people going to need next and what are they ready for now? Because if I give you something that you're not ready for or something that you no longer need, then it could be a good idea, but it's not going to necessarily make sense from a business standpoint. So of course, just as a business-minded person, I think about it from both sides. Now, the concept of how to hold on to them to some degree, that's interesting. Like immediately what comes to mind is maybe delegate the parts of it that can be implemented or applied right now. And if it's something that you're super passionate about, have some portion of your energy dedicated to it so that it stays alive. But I would have to agree, or I don't know that I have the answer for it in terms of like how to nurture all of the ideas that we come up with so that they stay alive. That's gonna be an interesting one.
Right. So people, if you have, this is more of a conversational basis thing. Like if you have some ideas, but I've found that like putting it, I understood that as putting an urgency to your ideas. Like you're not, you never know what's going to happen. So why don't we stop holding on to them thinking that it's going to happen when it possibly can't? Like the same thing where people are like, you only live once, and they treat certain parts of their lives, kind of like, I don't know what's going to happen the next day. Let's live this to the fullest. Let's, put these things a priority. So I'm thinking of that like as people who come up with ideas, that's a gift. Not everybody can come up with ideas, good ones and multiple ones. So it's like, what do we do? Because I don't want my ideas to be in the graveyard.
I want my ideas to die.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want my ideas to die with me. That sounds so. It sounds so negative. I don't know. This is me. So guys, go in our comments, DM us. Let us know your thoughts. You know what I mean? Let us know your thoughts.